Welcome to RSNA 2021. My name is Brian Casey, Editor-in-Chief of AntMini.com. We're here with Steve Holloway and Dr. Sanjay Parekh of Signify Research. They are a market research firm based in the UK. Gentlemen, thanks for being with us today.
Great to be here.
Thank you very much.
Now, you guys are specifically focusing on artificial intelligence here at RSNA, and it's obviously a really big field, so let's get right down to it. What are some of the trends that you see happening here on the floor of RSNA 2021?
Great. Yeah. So I think with the AI, there's always something going on, and I think we've seen AI platforms continue to dominate the conversation. And also a subset of that is care coordination. So how that fits into an end-to-end solution, say for critical condition.
And we talk about platforms, we're talking about more than just an algorithm, right? We're talking about kind of a whole ecosystem of AI. Is that what we're discussing?
Exactly, the whole workflow component beyond the image analysis and how the algorithm, or as now we see it as a solution, integrates into the wider radiology IT.
Okay. And what are some things that you see in that area?
So we've seen, if I go to those, like the integration in terms of getting lots of vendors and getting the delivery of different AI tools to the radiologist to solve lots of different problems. And then when I talk about the care coordination, looking at, say, stroke as an example, getting that end-to-end workflow where we have value beyond just the image analysis.
Sure. Because it seems like there is a workflow issue with AI. You know, we don't want radiologists to be hunting through some big list of AI algorithms to figure out what to pick, right?
Exactly, and I think that's where the platforms come in. They kind of solve that issue of picking the best vendors, but also creating that solution where they can almost partner some of the other vendors. And that's another trend we're seeing is this whole idea of partnerships and vendors realizing they can't do everything by themselves.
Great. Now, Steve, what are some of the trends that you're seeing here?
Yeah, I think I'd completely agree with Sanjay's point, but I would also add there's a long way to go also from the commercial and business model perspective of actually how, you know, these AI apps get paid for and for use. You know, reimbursement is still relatively nascent for most AI image analysis today. And that's a challenge for a lot of those startup vendors in the corner of the hall who are, you know, VC backed and are looking for a way, you know, to generate, you know, funds ultimately and to build a business. And we see probably in the mid to longer term, because of those last mile workflow challenges, it really means that they're going to have to focus a lot more on how they integrate with some of the bigger imaging IT partners and the PACS vendors. I think if you look in the context of where radiology is increasingly heading as well, focus is very much on efficiency and workflow now. I've heard nothing but that today. I'm already in every meeting. And that means there's more focus on what we'd call sort of service line offerings for radiology. So your big vendors like your G's, your Philips, your Siemens, they're looking to essentially bundle everything across their portfolio together, from modality to fleet management services, professional services, PACS, imaging IT, AI, all into one solution set, and say, we're not just going to provide you technology, we're actually going to support you in terms of delivering radiology more efficiently overall. And that changes that dynamic, that you're no longer a technology vendor, you're actually a partner in delivering care.
Yeah. Now, do you still see a lot of interest and appetite in the venture capital community for investing in these AI developers? Because some of these companies have really raised astounding amounts of money without any products and, you know, anything out there. Is that still going on?
I would say yes, it's still carrying on. I think there is potentially going to be a slowdown from a funding perspective in the next year or two, where, you know, some of that early invested money starts to run out, and there's going to be a thinning of the field, I think. I also think, as Sanjay was talking about partnerships between vendors, that automatically starts to drive discussion over M&A. So I think we're going to see some consolidation in that segment in the next couple of years, and it kind of has to happen as well, because the market can't sustain 15 vendors doing the same AI algorithm.
Yeah, you go over to the AI showcase,
yeah.
and just the number of companies over there, it's just unreal.
Yeah, And I think when it comes back to addressing that need in radiology around that service line provision and actually more efficient, you've got to be integrated and you've got to have the complete solution. So it's very hard for a new entrant in that market to come up with a point solution for AI and then come in and say, well, we're going to deliver that directly to hospitals and radiologists, as opposed to going through more traditional channels through the PACS or the imaging IT vendors. So there's a long way to go, but I think combined with that business model question, I wouldn't be putting my VC money into rad AI startups at this point.
Yeah.
Let's just say that.
Yeah. Now, any other big trends you see here in Chicago at RSNA 2021?
I think for me, like I say, the discussion in almost every meeting I've been in is let's focus on operational efficiency, let's focus on workflow. I think there's growing momentum behind structured reporting as well. And I think AI is a bit of a sort of precursor to driving that. And then the other piece I'd probably say alongside that is on the IT piece, in terms of bigger sort of imaging IT and PACS platforms. I'd say there's been fewer big brand new releases of new platforms or new products, and much more of a focus from vendors on let's optimize what we've got, let's really make it better, more efficient, and actually help providers use it and radiologists use it rather than give them a new product.
Right, makes sense. Well, gentlemen, thanks so much for being with us. We really appreciate you being here at the show. It's great to see you again.
Great
All right.
to see you.
Signing off for AmpMini.com, my name is Brian Casey.